Hi guys, so it's been a couple days since I've been on, and I wanted to just do an update of stuff that I've gotten this month. Like Jennifer Ball, it's been a little too much probably, so we are going to try to help each other in August not to buy anything other than, I told her, other than the stuff that's already coming in, like that I pre-ordered some stuff. But so first, before I start what has come in, when I did my garage sale haul, I could not find the tarot deck that I bought at the garage sale, which that is it. It's an old AG deck. Ooh, this way, Jen. And I paid $5 for it, and I mean, it is really old. Where did I see? I don't think I saw a date on it, but it was U.S. game systems even back then. So funny. And it is, oh, it's not all screwed up. I put it all in place to make sure it was all there. So it's in French. I paid $5 for it at a garage sale, and it's really in good shape considering how old this deck is. So I'm just going to go through real quick, but very neat how different it looks since it's so old. The colors are still really vibrant though. Really interesting deck. Whoops. I just was really impressed. Look at that chariot. So different. Justice, because it's an old deck, I know some decks do this still, but Justice is 8 in this deck. The Hermit. Or L'Ermite. Le Rue de Fortune. Just a really cool deck. Strength, or in French is La Force. Le Pendu. I was really, really impressed. And so when I looked this deck up, it's like from the 60s. And worth a heck of a lot more than the $5 that I paid for it. It's worth a lot more to me anyways, but just so interesting to see one of these really old decks. There's a couple, you know, little, like that one has a little stain on the bottom, but overall, and it's not sticky or anything. It looks like maybe almost a burn stain, even like somebody was smoking a cigarette over it, or it's so funny. La Lune. It's funny that the little crab, the lobsters, has little friends, first of all, and is like all by himself. I guess that's supposed to be water still at the bottom. I don't know. Le Soleil. Judgment. And Le Monde. Very interesting. And then the rest of it is pips. So it is a pip deck. It's interesting pips, though. I mean, Oh, come on, focus. There we go. Then alright, so that's the cups. It's got the court cards here. And then wands. Coins. And swords. So, quite the interesting deck. And I paid $5 at the garage sale, so can't beat it. So I was glad I found those. They were on a walkabout apparently, and they decided to show back up. So the new purchases that I got, I did get the Master Tarot deck, which Two Spirit had shown and recommended, and I really like this deck. So if you're interested in seeing that one, take a look at his channel. He did a full walkthrough there. I've been meaning to get the Dreams of Gaia Tarot for a while. Very interesting looking deck and very earthy. Even though it doesn't, I don't know if it follows the traditional system. To me, it doesn't. I don't think it follows the traditional Rider-Waite system. It seems very different, but there's some similarity. So I guess it does in a little things, but they rename a lot of stuff. Very interesting artwork, though. I like that a lot. My husband had bought me this deck at Barnes & Noble, and he's so cute. I am still a beginner. I'm not maybe this beginnery, but this was, for a beginner, guys, the great deck. Really, really a great deck. The book is really detailed. Talks in detail about the symbolism, follows the Rider-Waite system, and really explains the symbolism, which I haven't had in, in this kind of form. I haven't seen one that really goes through and talks about, the crab is there in the moon because of Cancer, and what every little piece of the card means and stuff like that. So this was a really good deck, and I will be using it to work on, for one thing, spreads. I don't do spreads a lot. And it has, I'm gonna drop it. It has a whole thing here to outline the spread. Ooh, it has the Celtic cross. And then, can't remember what they call this one, something star. And then they outline, what each card means and stuff. So I thought that was really great to look at the, the different spreads, and to help me work on the Celtic cross especially. I'm trying to do that one first since everyone knows that. But the cards themselves, I really liked. Here's the back. They're very, the quality of the card is good. And the imagery follows Rider-Waite, has its own little, font and stuff to it, but still is some, I've mixed them all up now. I've been shuffling. Not just pip cards. So they all have their own symbolism. Really liked this deck though, and I think this would be a great beginner's deck for a first timer just getting into tarot. Would be a great deck to learn on, like from the very beginning. Not that it certainly has been reading really well for me when I pull it out. I've only had it for about a week, a little less than a week. But has been doing great readings. And the imagery is really good. So I was really impressed. More impressed than I thought originally. I have to say, when my husband got the deck, I was always appreciative, but I was like, oh, that's nice. That's kind of a little bit too beginnery for me. I really think it's good. So I'm not going to show you all of these guys. Come on. I don't know what is with my focus lately. But really, really good. Here's the Lovers symbolism. So it's a very good beginner's deck. And if you're still learning, it's a great deck to practice on and really get the imagery down and the symbolism. The book is great, and it has the things for spreads, so pretty impressive. Okay, so a couple things. I'll show you what I got today in just a second. My mother knows what I'm into, even though she's not into most stuff I'm into. But she always looks at places like Savers and Goodwill and stuff when she's out for me. She found these great Mineral Digest books. And it's all kinds of information about different minerals. Look at the septarian nodules in there. Some great pictures. They're vintage. I'm trying to remember what I saw here. Sorry, guys. Does it say on the outside? It'd be great if I had my glasses on and could see it. It is... Come on, I know I saw it. Published, blah, blah, blah. West Germany. I know they're vintage. I'll look again. But just, it has some really interesting articles and lots of pictures of different minerals, names, you know, the minerals. And look at, there's a Jamesonite, which people don't talk about Jamesonite very much. I actually have a sample of Jamesonite. It's a sulfur salt, occurs in abundance as fibrous matter or fibrous radiate aggregates in Mina Noche Buena, Mazapil Zacatecas. No idea. That little attention is paid to it, although at least one specimen should be in every collection because it's not an exciting mineral. It is sold very cheaply. The fibrous masses can be as much as 6 inches across. You know, really gives some base information though about a whole bunch of different minerals, and I love it. I always said I would like to, at this point, I know enough about crystals that I would love to go back to school for some geology. Look at those images. Just gorgeous. Rose quartz. Look at that color of that rose quartz. I was thinking that would be the cobaltian calcite because it's so pink. But so I'm really excited. There's 3 volumes here of this, and so that was from my mother, and I have no idea how much she paid for it because there's no thing on it, but I guarantee you it was about $2 because she got it at Savers. So just keep your eyes out, guys. Really some great information in there. I got 2 books at Barnes & Noble when we went. I finally broke down and got The Ultimate Guide to Tarot by Liz Dean. I just really thought that this was a good one to have in my collection. Again, I'm starting to do the spreads, and it's got a lot about the spreads in here. Talks about the chakra spread, and then each card has a lot of information about each card. So like the Fool, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages just on him. each little symbol, what it means, the historical Fool, try a reading with the Fool, the astrology of the Fool, upright, reversed, understanding the Fool. So really lots of in-depth information about each card. They do a whole spread for each card, like a spread for the Tower specifically. So each card in here has, each major has about 4 pages, and then even the minors have 2 pages for each minor card, which is really great. A lot of information, and I was really excited about it. So yay, it has an appendices at the very end here with just a chart to give you, you know, some basic information about each card. So it's a great book. I'm liking it. I also got, which has nothing to do with Witchy or tarot or anything else that I'm into, other than I got the book. I just lost my place. No, I didn't. Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. This is the book that Lin-Manuel, what's his last name? Lin-Manuel, I know it any other time, but he wrote Hamilton after reading this book. And wow, is this an interesting read. Really in depth into how he grew up and where he came from, and how, like, I didn't know his wife lived for over 50 years after he died and was totally in love with him. She was in her 90s and would sit in the front parlor, and she had all his things around, called him my Hamilton. So when people would come over, she would show him all his things, and the bust that she had of him, and say, well, there's my Hamilton. Just some really neat information, though, and stuff that I had not known before. But because I love the musical Hamilton and the music and stuff, I've been starting to really get into it. So the last thing that I got today, I'm sure all of you have seen, but I decided, I broke down and got Bonfire Tarot, was a deck that to me is very different from most of the decks that I have. I'm really usually into the pagan-y, kind of earthy decks, and not so much the cartoony decks. But when I saw this deck, I'm trying to remember, I saw a video on it, I really thought, okay, this is a deck that could be different, but really hits you in a different way. The box itself is, whew, and I have to say, when I saw this on Amazon, I don't know why, I was thinking it was a lot smaller. So it's a nice box, flip box. The book is gorgeous, full color, has information on each card, and gosh, the deck itself just looked so interesting to me, so different. And like I said, usually I'm not into the cartoony kind of decks, but there's something about this deck that I think perhaps the reason it was calling to me is shadow work. I'm thinking this winter I may need to really dig into this deck and work on shadow stuff. I have said before, winter is my time to work on shadow stuff, not exclusively, but because it's a darker time period and stuff, I end up really looking inward a lot more. I do a lot of my shadow stuff in the winter for sure. I'm not going to show all these, everybody. I've seen a lot of people do these, but they just were, with the Magician, there's so many symbols in here to pick out from, and it's just, and I've seen videos on it before and it didn't hit me like that. I don't know what it was, just recently. It must be that the universe decided it is time for me to use this deck. Look at that image of the Empress. Gosh, there's so much juicy stuff in there. I didn't even notice. Look at the womb over here. very deep. I think a lot deeper than I initially thought when I was looking at the cartoony kind of images, the tattoo look of this art. A lot more than I initially thought. So, and this video is 20 minutes long now. Sorry guys. I try to keep them as short as I can, but I tend to run on. Look at the levers. Just really love it. The Hermit. All right, I'll just go through the majors, I promise. Partly because I want to see them. It's just so cool. Look at the Wheel of Fortune. The imagery on these, look at the symbols all over. This is my card, the Justice card, being a Libra. She is pretty damn cool. And look at all the diamond ring there, the coins up in the corner. There's some stuff in there that I'm really going to have to meditate on this winter for sure. There's the Hanged Man. I've forgotten that they don't call the Death card death, even though it is very obviously death. They just call it 13. Temperance. The Devil. It could be perhaps too, my 23-year-old is starting to do tattoos. She's been practicing for a long time now and doing artwork, and that is a damn cool image. So I've been looking at more tattoo art lately because of him. So it might be that it just hit me different. I don't know. Just decided that this was the time for me to get this deck. There's the Tower. Definitely in chaos. There's a lot of stuff going on there. The Star. The Moon. And it's funny, the symbols, most of them are there. It's just presented in a different way. I mean, look at that's very obviously, I like when the Moon cards very obviously are a dog and a wolf. So many times it's hard to tell that there's a difference between those two animals. The Sun. As bright a card as I bet you're going to see in this deck. Judgment. And the World. Pretty neat. So yeah, just something that I really felt that it was time for me to get. And I'm glad. I'm really glad that I have. I'm really looking at them now. They're a lot better cardstock quality than I thought initially. They're a little bit plasticky. Depends on, you know, what kind of cards you like. But for me, the way I shuffle, I'm kind of rough on my cards. I try not to be, but I am, even though I have these big man hands, I'm kind of rough on my cards when I'm shuffling. So I like when I know that they're able to withstand that. They're a little sticky. So that's a good thing. Look at that Three of Swords. Sorry. That's a pretty cool effing card. Okay, so that is that. Jennifer Ball and I are going to really try hard not to buy any decks or books in August, other than what is already coming, or you know, had been pre-ordered before. So wish us luck. We're going to need it. But we need to take a break and a little bit, you know, rein ourselves in a bit. So thanks for watching, guys. And I'll be posting another video soon. I was telling people that my Scullies, my crystal Scullies, have started asking to be paired with a tarot deck. And I'm going to be starting to do that tonight. And then I'll kind of show you guys what has been paired with what. You know, I have a lot of Scullies, but it'll be with the decks that I'm using. So I'll show that soon. I hope everybody's having a good week.